reports recently that the Trump administration has been seriously considering a pardon. Now, I had heard from my sources, Jake, that those reports were premature, and the president actually commented on this just days ago. Take a look at what Nicole told me. Have people in Sean Combs's orbit, have they had conversations with the Trump administration?
Yes. My understanding is that we have reached out.
Reached out is one thing. Having a conversation is another. Do you know if there have been active conversations about a pardon?
Yes, it's my understanding that we've reached out and had conversations in reference to a pardon.
President Trump, when he was asked about this pardon, he said, quote, "I was very friendly with him. I got along with him great, and he seemed like a nice guy. I didn't know him well, but when I ran for office, he was very hostile." And the president indicated that a pardon is likely not on the table because of that break in his relationship with Mr. Combs years ago. How is he feeling now about the chances of a pardon given the president's commentary?
I think that Mr. Combs is a very hopeful person, and I believe that he remains hopeful.
If I was Mr. Combs, I would have to switch up my lawyer because she's just giggling a little bit too much throughout this interview. And this is not no laughing matter.
Now, Jake, the White House responded to us when we reached out to comment, and they said that they will not comment on the existence or non-existence of any clemency request.
And Elizabeth, you also asked Westmoreland about the defense team's strategy during the trial. Tell us about that.
Yes, we talked in great length about the strategy during the trial because, of course, as you said, Sean Combs, he was acquitted on the most serious charges.
All these people, you can't even give a pardon because all these people are still being sentenced. But let's talk about it.
Pardon is the forgiveness of a crime and then the cancellation of the penalty that goes along with it. Unfortunately, these sort of last-minute pardons have given everyone this impression that it's this sort of underhanded, backstabbing deal that's usually made and rewarded to political allies and that sort of thing. And that's not necessarily always the case. Well, there are two types of pardon. There's a federal pardon and then there's a state pardon. So the federal pardon is given by the President of the United States, and the Constitution gives the President that power, and it's an absolute power. You really can't mess with what the President does. In terms of a state pardon, almost all the governors of the 50 states have that pardon power, but in 9 states there are boards that have the power to pardon. Some people say that they're politically motivated. Some people say they're morally motivated, like if there's new evidence or it's found that someone just really didn't commit a crime. Sometimes it's because a governor or a president may feel that the person has paid his or her debt to society and it's time for a do-over. It's time for them.
This verdict was, in no uncertain terms, a victory for the defense. Talk about that strategy from day one to come out of the gate and say he is a domestic abuser, but that is not what he is on trial for here.
So, the strategy was to just tell the truth. That's really what we decided, to just tell the truth. We didn't need a creative story. We didn't need to overreach. We knew that telling the truth meant not guilty. We knew that he had not sex trafficked anyone, and we knew that RICO was absurd. So we figured, hey, we'll tell the truth and that will pay off. And I believe that, for the most part, that strategy worked.
But usually when presidents pardon someone, is going to be at the end of their presidential term to avoid drama. to avoid drama, to put it simply, to avoid drama from the court, to avoid drama from the public, and to avoid drama from any congressman. Because some things that the president may be pardoning may have go against the public when it comes to a certain crime. It may look like they're downplaying a certain crime that someone has done, and that could upset the public. So that will be more reason why they usually pardon people around the end of their term, is because it's to avoid some drama. Even I know that you cannot get a federal presidential pardon if you have not been sentenced yet. So I don't know why his lawyer is talking about, well, he's hoping. Why are you letting him hope for something that you know he can't get? You know he could get clemency. You know he could get a type of dismissal. You know he could get a leniency. Like Gigi, if people are paying attention, she went from max security to minimum security, where she can have a dog, walk out, come back with a underage boyfriend or girlfriend for a cellmate. So she knows that he cannot get a pardon. So why even put that out here for rumors of your client? I would be pissed.
He is still facing around 70 civil allegations from men, from women, from people who allege that they were minors at the time, across decades, with horrific accusations of being drugged, of being sexually assaulted. Each of those cases does have to play through the courts individually. So I understand that he denies them, but those are still active cases.
True, but let me say this to you. We are talking about the United States government. This is the federal government. All right, it doesn't really get any stronger than that. And so they obviously fully investigated Mr. Combs and obviously threw the book at him, right? And so if you think for a second, if the government really thought that there were minors out there hanging in the balance, if the government really thought that there was drugs in the baby oil or something of that nature, do you think the government just wouldn't have brought that up in a full-fledged criminal trial? Absolutely not, right? So that's not even logical. And so if the government if there was any real evidence of those allegations, we would have heard all about it in the criminal trial.
Courts usually do that. Sometimes they'll drop some charges if they're still going to charge you with some others that they feel are more of heinous crimes. So even though P. Diddy got an acquittal, and some people don't know what that means that in layman's terms, basically the court and the jury and the prosecutor don't want to look at the evidence anymore. They're just going to throw it out without any type of explanation. But as of right now, P. Diddy is being held without bond. In layman's terms, that means that he's in custody right now. And he cannot provide a bond. He cannot pay to leave and be free and come back and see the judge. So he has to stay in jail until October, when his court date arrives. And then he can go talk to the judge and see what is going to be his fine, his disposition, and his sentencing. Which, if it was me, I would be kind of like, I would really be scared, because your lawyer should already have an idea of what you are up against. That's why you have a lawyer. Before you show up in court, if you have a good lawyer, your lawyer is talking in the back.
Now, Jay, Combs' team has made numerous attempts at bail. Just yesterday, the judge denying him bail. His sentencing is set for October 3rd. His attorney there told me that they are disappointed in the decision for the judge to deny bail, but they do have a pending motion asking for the judge to fully acquit Sean Combs or to give him a new trial. And Nicole told me that she believes that the judge should grant that.
He pardoned about 200 people his last term, and one of those people being Kodak Black. But if you pay attention, Kodak Black is anti-black. Kodak Black is one of those black people that do not like black people, and they do not like being black. So of course he's going to pardon someone like that. But P. Diddy, and Trump, you guys have similar charges where you're raping women. I detect a bit of jealousy there. You know, it's kind of like where it's a double standard where I can do it, but you can't. Even though they're doing the same thing, P. Diddy is not anti-black. He's not publicly hating on himself for being black. So, of course, no. Now, Trump is a white supremacist where he publicly is trying to show black people to look inferior. And he's not the type of white supremacist to help his own. The type of stuff that he does helps himself. He's not paying attention to if it's helping the KKK or the Brotherhood or not. If it hurts them, he doesn't care.
Kodak Black.
My name Kodak Black, but when you see me, I'm white.
And how come?
Kodak Black, but I might fuck your white wife.
Why?
I bring the biggest gun to the knife fight. Burn a lot of money and I smoke a lot of spice. My name Kodak Black, but when you see me, I'm white. I'll do like this.
Unfortunately, that's a hit.
Yeah, facts.
Do you ever feel like...
My name Kodak Black, but when you see me, I'm white.
Welcome to the club.
The lyric, it said, "I changed my life tonight if Donald Trump reduced my sentence." He not only reduced his sentence, he pardoned you.
All that good
It's hard. That's hard. It's never been done before. Yeah, how did that happen? Like, you in the cell and they just said...
He Gemini game. He a Gemini like me. His birthday 3 days after my and I wear like he be vibing out here too.
Right.
Trump is a Gemini?
I didn't know that. Hey.
Yeah, I'm a Gemini.
Are you Gemini when you're
Former Congressman George Santos is waking up in federal prison this morning for the first time today, marking his first full day as he begins serving out a 7-year sentence. You said it, he pled guilty last year to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft. Santos in court admitting to defrauding donors, charging their credit cards without authorization, as well as other crimes. He arrived at FCI Fairton on Friday. That's a medium security prison in southern New Jersey, and he's not the only high-profile inmate there. The co-defendants of former Senator Bob Menendez also serving out their time at that facility. And the disgraced former Long Island congressman, of course, was elected in 2022, but dominated headlines after aspects of his life.
Convicted felon. All these new congressmen that are convicted felons. George Santos did turn himself in July, and his sentence is about 7 years. But they believe that he's going to complete about 87 months if he does good behavior. So they usually don't complete the whole time. They usually just complete half the time. If it's expected that they complete good behavior, that they don't act up and they don't get any more charges while they're in the penitentiary. And they did expel Mr. Santos from the Congress. And we need to keep this up. We need to keep up where people who are lying on their resume, people who really don't have compassion, we need to keep this up. These positions, these chairs are not made for you to be selfish. There are other jobs out there where you can be, but while you are in the chair of being the president, of being a congressman, you are supposed to be paying attention to the American people. That is your job, especially the president. It's not designed for you to make a profit up there. It's designed for you to be selfless and for you to pay attention to the American people so the American people can make a profit. Now, before you go into office or when you come out of office, you can make a profit. You can even use your chair and your title to help you with that profit. While you're in the chair, you can put things in other people's, a stooge's name. You can make that stooge be a friend. You can make that be a family member. But while you're in office, that's a selfless job, and you're supposed to give up your other jobs, your conflict of interest, and you're supposed to be looking after us, the economics, and the overall money of this country, which in the long run will help you. when you look out for the poor man, you look out for the rich man too. How did these rich men forget that? Because those are not real rich men. Real rich men understand that their companies are built upon the backs of people who work. And they need those people to continue to work. They need those people to maintenance these machines. When these machines break down, they need someone to fix the machine. They need someone to look after the machine. For every machine they install, it cannot run on its own without any type of supervision. You need 4 to 7 people minding that machine. So there's no way that we can completely get rid of human beings in the workforce.
This former Long Island congressman, of course, was elected in 2022, but dominated headlines after aspects of his life story began to fall apart. Santos later admitting to fabricating some of his biography, including where he worked and went to school, and committing some of those crimes to get him into office. He, of course, was ultimately expelled from Congress. Santos saying a goodbye on social media this week, saying, quote, "To those I've disappointed, to those I've let down, to those that I've caused irreparable damage even, I'm sorry."
President Donald Trump underwent a comprehensive medical exam that revealed he has chronic venous insufficiency, according to the White House on Thursday.
It's where your veins in your lower legs aren't working as well as they should, and allowing blood to pool down where gravity pulls the blood. Normally, your veins should pump the blood back up towards your heart. And when you have this particular condition, it just doesn't pump as well.
Dr. Janice Johnson, Chief Medical Officer at Redirect Health, said the condition is common for people over the age of 50.
All results were within normal limits.
The surprise announcement came after speculation surrounding bruising on the president's hand. According to the White House, other serious health issues were ruled out.
Big things to rule out is a blood clot, heart failure, kidney failure, those kinds of things. So those are obviously serious that can cause swelling. It appears that this has been ruled out in this case, which is great.
When it comes to treatment, Dr. Johnson said there are a few conservative options.
For mild cases would be to wear compression stockings, compression socks, keeping legs elevated, trying to control weight, avoiding excess salt intake, avoid just prolonged sitting and standing.
It is not clear how the president will be treated.
They need to start paying close attention to his heart, because your heart is the organ that flows your blood up and down your body. So feet swelling is a bad sign. So this is why a lot of people need to not run when their elders are about to be in the end of life care. Because if you saw your elders passing, it's easy for you to see it in other people. And it's just reality. But it takes a long time for people to deteriorate. It can take years for people to deteriorate. But his health is at stake. And with all the stress that he's going through, it's not going to help his health. So when he's on the golf course, instead of riding on the golf court a lot, you need to get up off the golf cart and walk more. He needs to do more exercise. He's got to work on his diet. He's probably more than likely not going to do that. But one thing that would help his circulation, he's got to get up and walk in the park more. He has got to walk more. Is he going to do that? I don't know. We'll see. He's probably going to keep up the lies instead. But hey, we will stay tuned and we will see what's going on with the world. You know what I'm saying?